Yep, we have head coach John Gross in here, as well as Enrique Freeman, Michael Dawson, and Greg Tribble. Coach, we'll start with an opening statement from you.
You know, obviously a great win for us. I'm happy for these guys. I'm proud of them. I thought that we got contributions from everybody that played. For the first time in a couple weeks, I thought we were really, the strength in numbers approach that we try to employ was really good. You know, Prather makes 2 free throws, has a great and one pass to Dawson, finishes with 0 turnovers. Thornton goes 1 for 2, and I thought he did a great job when he was in the game of making the right play, reading tags. He had a skip to G in the left corner there in the second half off a pick and roll that ended up where G drew a foul there and got to the line. Tavari, a couple buckets. Shema didn't make shots today, but defensively on the ball, thought his engagement, his ability to rebound, he gets 4 rebounds and has 2 assists and 0 turnovers in the game. And then obviously the guys who started for us all, produced at a high level, played well. Thought we played with a lot of force, a lot of physicality, and I thought we answered their runs. I want to give Kent credit. They're well coached. I've got a lot of respect for Rob. And every time I thought we were going to get a little bit of distance, they swung right back. And that happened about 3 or 4 times until we were able to get a little bit of a gap at the end of the game. But these guys up here and they're guys that are older in the locker room, in addition to these 3, they've been doing this a long time. So they just kind of stayed with it, showed great poise, and knew that we needed to play for 40 minutes. But, we'll enjoy this one, take tomorrow off, and then get ready to prepare for an Ohio team that's playing really well on Tuesday in Athens. Questions for the guys?
Just for Greg, start off with Greg. Something you were very active tonight. Steals, points, the big dunk once again. Just what was your mindset coming into a rivalry game where you beat them once and you want to obviously get the season sweep? But just what were you thinking coming in?
Yeah, obviously I didn't get to play the first time, and I wanted to be out there so bad, and I just felt like I had to bring the intensity for the guys so we could come out and win. And I feel like I haven't been playing my standard to defense, so today I kind of wanted to set the tone on the defensive end, and the rest took care of itself.
As far as the dunk against Kent your freshman year and then tonight, which one was better?
No, the freshman year one.
Coach talked about the game being really physical tonight, and you guys were able to pretty much leave them scoreless almost within the paint. And how physical was this game for you guys tonight? Especially you.
Yeah, no, you
It was a super physical game. I know I missed a few blockouts there at the end. But yeah, going into these games, you're always prepared for that type of physicality, especially against your rival team. And we know last few games, a lot of teams have been trying to play us really physical, try to get us out of the game. So I think as a team, we took that to heart, and we kind of came out today and try to match the physicality and be the more physical team.
Mike, 5 for 6 for you. Mike, 5 for 6 for you behind the arc tonight. What did you do to get back into the groove of the game?
I said this up there in the radio, but I just stayed in my shot. I mean, like I said, as guys on the team, even the coaches is telling me that before that when I shoot, I'm falling back. And just to stay in the shot, just straight up, straight down. And that's what I did tonight.
Enrique, the 2 threes obviously came at huge times.
Mm-hmm.
How much have you worked on that aspect of your game, and how rewarding is it to see it pay off in those moments of a rivalry game?
Yeah, just he said it, that it feels amazing. We put a lot of work in the summer, a lot of shooting when we have some free time now, even though a lot of our time's taken up because of the game. But I put in a lot of work to see those threes go in, so I'm just happy they went in this time.
What do you think about the matchup with Hornbeak and Peyton? Obviously, 2 guys that'll mix it up with you.
Yeah.
You're the better go statistically and you get the win, but just what do you think of that matchup?
No, they're definitely 2 good players. I know Hornbeak's he's super physical, and Peyton is so athletic and so fast twitch. So I know I fouled him a little bit, but they're 2 good players. So going into the game, just trying to stay our course, execute our offensive game plan, and just be the better team at the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah. Michael, with the 3-point shot, you talking about the way your body placement, everything. You've been shooting the same amount, during practice, before practice, after practice, or have you increased your shooting load?
I feel like I probably got in the gym a lot more in the mornings. I like doing my work in the mornings, but yeah, in the mornings I'll just shoot a lot of shots before practice, and then I'll come back later and shoot. Just same repetition all the time, and just making sure that I'm not leaning anywhere, not leaning left or right or leaning backwards on my shot. Just making sure that I'm going straight up and straight down. Just making sure I'm following through with my shot.
I'll say this, Michael. I wasn't real worried about it. As long as he takes good ones, I'm not. I always tell him water finds its level.
Yeah, he said that.
And what people don't understand is what he brings to the table aside from shot making. People just look at the stat sheet and see whatever he shoots, like his force, his physicality, his passion, his motor, his diving on loose balls, not afraid to make contact, stealing extra possessions for us. He did it again tonight. Those are winning plays, and I hope our young guys are watching that, because what happens is you come to college and you think your way to the courts to score, and that's not always the case. You know, you got to be trusted in some of these other areas. And obviously, I trust him a great deal.
I know it's a fresh question for you guys, but you guys are all kind of veterans. Where do you think this will rank this season in your guys' college basketball careers, beating Kent at their house, then getting to beat Kent?
You're asking us to think about that now, huh? We got work to do.
We ain't finished yet.
Yeah.
We might see him again.
This season is definitely
How's it feel right now?
Yeah.
good, but we try not to focus on that. We try to just take it one day at a time.
We're gonna live in the moment for now, but tomorrow is a new day, and we're on to the next game.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else for our student athletes?
For any of the seniors, we
They're
talk
all
about.
seniors.
Yes, any of them. Yeah,
He is academic,
for any of the guys,
but not athletic.
we talk about the positives. What are some of the things you feel like you need to work on that didn't go so well in this game?
I would say we missed a few blockouts. We messed up a few times on our defensive scheme, on some of the ball screens. You know, they're really good ball screen team. You know, they ran a bunch of actions over the last few years that's kind of, you know, messed with our defense a little bit. So we didn't execute that well in certain areas, but I think that, you know, as we always do, we're going back to the mindset like, okay, we enjoy this one. We'll get back to the drawing board tomorrow.
Sunday.
Yeah. If I told him he was coming in tomorrow, we'd have anarchy.
One more for the guys as far as just being the experienced group. How is pregame different versus Kent State compared to other teams potentially? Or is it different?
I wouldn't say it was different.
I feel like we treat every team the same way. It doesn't matter if we're playing the worst team in the MAC or the best team. We're going to treat them the same way. You can't take any team in this conference lightly because anything can happen.
The room, what's your real assessment of the game?
Well, I mean, I thought offensively the second half we were really good. Thought defensively we were good in the first half. So there are some similarities a little bit, Michael, as excited as we are about the win, to how we played a little bit in the last couple weeks where we've had a great defensive half and a great offensive half. Now, I thought our effort tonight was exceptional, and I did think that our contributions from all those guys that I mentioned earlier was different than how we played the last 2 to 3. Our bench hasn't been as good. Today it was terrific. So I thought that was good. Obviously, it's good to see the ball go in the basket. Offensively, the second half, I thought we were really good. Defensively, first half, we were really good. And give them credit, part of it too, like Sullinger got going, and he can really make shots. I mean, he's a threat out there as soon as he walks in the building off the bus. He has that type of range. So, you know, our guys tried to cover him. I thought, you know, we had a couple busted rotations that Reek was alluding to in some scheme stuff that gave him a couple early. And then once you see the ball go in like that, it's kind of like Dawson making the 4 out of 5 from 3. You make the first one or second one, you start feeling pretty good. And I thought, you know, we let him get going a little bit too much. So that would be the one thing, you know, if we happen to see him again, we got to get cleaned up because he's the type of guy that can have explosive nights and really turn the scoreboard in the other direction.
With Enrique, he was at 3 fouls, was kind of quiet by his standards, and then he really got going. What did you see out of him there that final stretch of the second half to really
Reek doing Reek things? I mean, he's, you know, again, I hope, I've said this a ton, and I'll say it again, I hope people appreciate the guy. I mean, he's a generational dude. I mean, like, just his approach, who he is, person, mental, emotional, student, the whole nine. Leader, cares about winning, cares about other people, humility. He's got the whole package. And then you can get on him during games. Like he knew he missed 2 blockouts. I got into him pretty good. You can do that because he's coachable and he responds. So, when your best player or players is that way, then everybody else, like if you're a freshman and you're watching that, I mean, like you're thinking like, man, I better pick my stuff up because if he's on Freeman, and so when you can coach your best player or players that way, it just has a ripple effect on everybody else. So, yeah, hopefully, obviously great crowd tonight. I said that on the radio. I led off with just a phenomenal environment. Zips Nation was unreal tonight, unreal. Came out and the thing was sold out 2 o'clock yesterday. So, hopefully we got 2 more home games. We'll get people back in here to show some appreciation for these seniors, if anything else. How much they've won, but more importantly, how they do it. To me, that's more important.
John, how hard has Enrique worked on developing that outside shot? How much?
A
have you seen him
ton.
improve?
So's Greg. These guys are like totally different shooters than they were 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Credit to the staff, to Dustin, Rob, Robbie, John, Devin, the amount of time those guys spend with those guys and the routines they have in the morning. You heard Mike talk about the morning, coming back at night. That's what Reek does. Greg's put in as much time as anybody, probably him and Castaneda and Jackson, who we had here a few years ago. But these other guys put in a lot of time too. Greg is a self-made shooter. You got to remember now, 4 years ago, they didn't even guard him at all. I had a conversation with him after his first year in our end-of-year meeting. Hey, man, I want to play at the end of games, but if you're a guard, you got to make more than 60% of your free throws. Now we have a technical foul, and I send him to the line. I mean, this is the amount of improvement these guys have made, and they deserve all the credit for that. How hard they work, their work capacity, their high care factor. I mean, they're something else. I mean, they really embody what we're about.
Coach, I've heard on pretty good authority that there's a chance Nate Johnson will be back soon. Do you have any update on that?
Yeah, he's been, obviously been cleared. The hand's healed. But, he's got to get some shots up with it. And then he's got to get his conditioning. There for a while when you have a hard cast, per the doctor's instructions, you can't run. So, yesterday was his first workout, and I thought we were going to need to bring in 5 to 10 oxygen tanks, So we'll see where he's at as he continues to move forward. He wants it bad. Nate's obviously a good player and wants to be out there, but we'll see how his cardio and how the strengthening of his hand goes here over this period of time, and we're going to try to bring him back in a progressive way.
Greg got that really important dunk right before halftime. How did that help the energy going into halftime?
Well, it's a big play because they closed the gap, right? So I used the first time out to get them a blow because I sensed they were a little bit tired, and I didn't want to take a couple of the guys out. And I should have maybe burned another one, but I don't like having 2 in the second half instead of 3. And I thought we got a little bit fatigued there. If you remember, the 4-minute media went to 2 minutes and change. So they had a 6-minute stretch. We got to be a little tougher and fight through that a little bit better. But I thought it was a big play because it took it to 2 possessions.
Coach Enrique Freeman was 2 for 2 from beyond the arc tonight. Coach Senderoff touched on how that makes it much more difficult for them to defend because he's such a good player on the inside. Talk about how that helps you guys on the floor.
Well, that's huge. I mean, you got a guy like that plays inside and the interior, that forces double teams and demands so much attention, and then he goes out to the perimeter and starts making threes. I mean, that's a totally different ball game at the position or positions he plays. Makes it more challenging. They had Vaughn Cameron Davis for them, put you in that predicament a little bit as a 3-4-4-3 guy. It's really challenging when you have Sammy Hunter and Reek that can both stretch, defenses. So, but I was just happy for him because he's put in so much work. Same thing with the way Greg's been shooting the ball here lately. It was good to see Dawson get, back making shots. But again, I want to be clear. Obviously, I think he's a really good shooter and water will find its level. But the things he does for your team, like it's hard to put it on a number on a stat sheet. Like it's just, I like guys who play really hard, that are physical, that'll put their body in plays, that pay attention on scouting reports, that play to win, that compete with a toughness about them. And that's Dawson. He embodies that. Whether he makes a shot or not, he impacts the game that way. I thought he lost his way, Logan, a little bit for a while. He got caught up in his shooting there for a week or two. I just kept telling him, Mike, what you bring so much more than whether the ball goes in. And having said that, guys want to see the ball go in, right? So tonight, him making 4 out of 5 obviously made a big impact in the game, and I was really thrilled for Michael.
Anything else for Coach?
You get an extra day, obviously, before the next game at OU. What do you think of that matchup, going down to Athens to face a talented team that's going to want to?
I think they're playing really well. I texted JB the other day because I watched their Toledo game where they had a 1-point lead at Toledo with a couple minutes to go, maybe 1 or 2 points. And man, did they play well. Whew. And then obviously just beat Kent the other day at home. They play again tomorrow. I think they're playing as good as they played all year, to be honest with you. It's my opinion. JB may have a different opinion, but I think they're playing really well. And then obviously down there, there's not a lot of places I have maybe as much a feel for how hard it is to win down there than that place for obvious reasons. So, I know it'll be a challenge when we get down there, and we'll get their best shot like we've gotten everybody's best shot all year, So we got to make sure we're ready to go. But I want them to enjoy this one, and then we'll get back together on Sunday. But what we did today has no bearing on the game on Tuesday, which will be the message on Sunday. You got to play well again. You got to play well. It is what it is. The team that plays the best Tuesday will win the game.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.